Thank you very much. So welcome everyone tonight. Hope you've been able to introduce yourself in the chat. We have a really informal program tonight. We opened with a video of one of our community organizers, Travis Carpenter, playing the cello. He lives here in Peekskill, and he is our kind of community organizer person who does a lot of work to promote composting and just help out with all the WASS activities. But the other hat that he wears is that he is a musician and teaches lessons, violin lessons and strings lessons. So he couldn't make it tonight because he's giving those lessons, but he made those videos for us to play. So we had some music to go along with our WASSailing. So tonight's topic, we're doing a virtual makers fair. So we have so many talented people locally in Westchester County. And we know that buying things from places like Amazon and Walmart just generates a lot of packaging waste and is not great for our environment. So we wanted to work with our community to provide you with opportunities to buy local. And what better way than to invite local artists, local bakers, craftspeople, and makers to share with us the things that they make and create so that we can purchase those things, keep our money local, and also go easy on the environment. So with that, I am going to stop sharing so that we can all see each other. And we have a couple of folks that we invited specifically to come on as kind of our for sure guests, but we really want this to be a lot of discussion. So if you are a maker and you would like to share the work that the things that you create, like we're just going to open it. And when I say, you can just raise your hand and we will give you the floor, and we would love to learn about the work that you do. But we'll kick things off with, our local folks. So I think we'll start with Lisa Crown from the Peekskill Play Studios. And she didn't plan this, but if you can see my gorgeous mug, this is one of her works of art, and you can find her on Instagram and stuff. Her handle is Rational Pottery, I think is what it is. And she makes amazing stuff. This is not my only piece of hers. She does quilting as well. I have some pot holders that are completely unused because I feel like they're too pretty to use. So I just use them as decoration, and a gorgeous serving bowl. So I have a whole bunch of things that Lisa has made, but she's also super involved with the Clay Studios, and they're having their big sale this weekend. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Lisa so she can tell us not only about her work, but also about how we can see her work, purchase her work, and work from a lot of the other artists at the Clay Studios. So take it away, Lisa.
Hopefully you can see this is the announcement for our event Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 4 p.m. At the Hat Factory. This year we have a record-breaking number of potters. We'll have 19 potters and craftsmen at the studio sharing their work. It's a great place to work and take classes. I've been there since pretty much the beginning. People work in stoneware and porcelain. Most of our work is dishwasher safe and make great gifts. It's a really nice variety of kinds of work. So even if you don't find my work that thrilling, you might find some other artist that you like. I can go to so everybody probably knows where the Hat Factory is, but it's on 1000 North Division Street. Here's my feed in Instagram. I'd also advise people to check out the Peekskill Clay Studios Instagram feed. Here's one of the ads for work. No, that's at Garrison. I also have work at the Garrison sale, which is through the 15th. That's a brilliant craft sale. They have some jewelry, some sewn work, as well as very high-end, not high-end, but very beautiful pottery. Let's see. This is some of my quilt work. I like to use a lot of patterning in my work, so you'll know it when you see it at the studio. It's pretty distinctive. All right, I think that's pretty much all I have to say, but we would look forward to giving you a tour of our studio and talking pottery.
Sorry, I had to go grab a couple other things. So
That's
these are
okay.
my pot holders from Lisa that I think these were for my birthday.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you can see they're pristine because they just are decorative. And my
Just
family knows
use
not to
them.
use them. And then it showed up in the image from the Garrison thing from Cheyenne Mallow Pottery.
Yeah,
These
there's the Cheyenne.
amazing mugs, which I sent to Lisa because a lot of her work, she also does a lot of stuff that sort of involves data and
Yeah.
the patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this is actually a map, and these are ISO lines. So this is Giant Ledge and Panther Mountain in the Catskills, which my family has a place in the Catskills on Panther Mountain. So that's why I have this one. But when I first saw it, I sent it to Lisa and I was like, oh, you should check this potter out. And she already knew the potter, of course.
I know Cheyenne.
Yeah. And I love that. Yeah. All of this stuff is very functional. And I think that's one of the things I like about the clay studio is like, I have things like, you know, a soap dish. I have flower pots. I have my mugs, although I have to control myself with the mugs. But there's also jewelry. There's all kinds of other Christmas ornaments and other like sun like catcher things and whatever. So there's a really wide variety there. And a lot of very talented potters. And because they are really into zero waste, if you follow them and join their email list, they have a seconds sale. So a nearly perfect pottery sale. And so stuff that maybe the artists feel like isn't quite up to snuff for the official sale, they sell for cheap. And so I can, since I still have kids, some of the stuff like the soap dish was a seconds because I don't want to put my like the actual like expensive fancy pottery. Because I think like one of my berry strainers was accidentally dropped. And so if I feel less upset when it's a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the other thing is, are people going to be able to see like, because the sale, you actually get to go into the studio, right, Lisa?
Yes, we'll be actually probably utilizing the gallery and our studio space because we have such a large cohort this time. So, yeah, we love to give tours of our place and talk about all the equipment and what it takes.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just at the studio this past weekend
Oh,
because they
good.
had a class on making ornaments. And
Yes,
so maybe my ornaments will be fired and
they
ready
might
for
be,
pickup by the weekend.
if you're lucky.
So that because I can't commit to like weekly classes. So if you are maybe interested in trying it, but you can't commit, definitely follow their schedule because this was just like a one-off, and my daughter and I went. And we each got to make several ornaments, and they're getting
Great.
fired and everything. So we got to learn and do hands-on in a low commitment way.
Great.
So if anybody has questions for Lisa, feel free to raise your hand or drop them in the chat. Lila, go ahead.
So I don't have one on hand at the moment, but on our zero waste theme, are there local artists? Do you know anybody or studios that would repair broken pottery? Like, you know, an artistic piece, not like, you know, your crate and barrel mug, but like if you had an artistic ceramic piece, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like that
It's called
Japanese process of
kintsugi.
putting the metal in it to fix
Yeah.
cracks or things. I wonder if there's anybody local that,
I do know a man who does it, but it's, kintsugi, but he's not doing it professionally, but yeah, you could definitely look it up. In Japan, they use gold, and it doesn't restore the work to be used. It becomes then a kind of an artifact, or it's not particularly functional, but it is beautiful.
can that process rejoin a broken piece though? Does it
Sometimes there's some
refire or is it
great,
just a crack? It's
there's some
sealing it.
wonderful ceramic glues that you can use.
Okay.
I would highly recommend. When we had Joann's, they had some good ceramic glue, but
I kind of liked the gold, and I wonder
know the
if,
gold is pretty
if your
nice.
kid's terrible art project broke,
Yes.
if it might be enhanced by another artist's
Yeah,
better
maybe.
fusion. Anyway.
Good idea.
Lila, I
Thank
put
you.
in the chat Hudson Valley Kintsugi, which they offer workshops, and like you can learn to do it yourself, or I think you can like bring it and do it. I've
Oh,
been
perfect.
wanting to do one, so
Yeah.
I have a broken teapot, and so if you maybe we can go together, and that would be fun.
Let's do that.
Because they do it at like cool places, and like I think it's kind of like meant to be a social activity as well. So awesome. And with that, our next speaker is a WASS core group member, Joanne Boniello, and she's going to talk to us about Retake Remake, which I'm hoping or assuming it's also in the Hat Factory Peekskill that we all know about, which is an awesome source for makers and it's doing amazing work to divert art supplies from the waste stream and the trash incinerator.
Hello, everybody. Yes, so as Courtney said, we are in the Hat Factory, number 9. We are opened Friday, Saturday from 10 to 4, and Sundays 12 to 4. When we started, we had 3 volunteers, and now our workforce has grown to about 30 active volunteers who collectively give over 60 hours a week to sort and clean and organize and price inventory. And if you have been there, you'll notice how organized it is. And there's a great group of women that everybody has their own thing that they like to do, and they do a great job of it. So we opened in February of 2022. And since then, we have diverted 108,000 pounds of usable arts and crafts from the waste stream. So we're very proud about that.
Joanne, are
sure.
you wanting to show slides?
No, I don't have slides.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, and also our data, because I keep track of, where everything comes. We weigh everything by town, by zip code, because maybe in the future we can go back to these municipalities and say, hey, look how much we've saved from your, waste stream. But anyway, every week there's more new shoppers. It's amazing how many people we get in there that are new, never heard of us. While the majority of donations do come from Peekskill and the surrounding towns, we've had people come from as far away as like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's because they really believe and can, get behind our mission. There are other places around the country. I'll have to get that list one day, but there are a few around the country. We even had somebody send in something. They mailed it in from Oklahoma City because they didn't want to throw it away and they didn't know what to do with it. So in June, we were approached to make packets of art supplies to be given out at Fred's Food Pantry in Peekskill. So the thought was that the food provided nourishment to the body, but, was there a way to also feed the soul by giving out materials used to explore and create, explore creativity. So we really like that idea. And each month we've been giving them packets that contain paper, markers, stickers, cards, and other items. So we're hoping to find a funding partner so, we can fill the supplies that we don't have, in our stock. What else? Let's see. Other groups that we've given supplies to include several school districts and New Era Creative Space in Peekskill. If anybody does know of a community organization who might need some sort of supplies that we get in excess, please let us know. You can go to the website. I saw Courtney put it in the chat, and there is an email link in there. In October, 12 of the Regeneron volunteers came to the warehouse to put together creative material packets and sort paper and envelopes. So we were a site that was selected for the Day of Doing Good, and we were incredibly grateful for their help. There is also, I don't know if you know, but I wanted to mention a woman who had been coming to our store, opened up, it's called Second Wave Supplies, and her mission is the same as ours. It's in Beacon. It's 333 Fishkill Avenue in Beacon. She's open Thursdays to Saturday. I think it's 11 to 4. I'm not really sure, but you can see her on Instagram and Facebook, and it's on there. It's small, but it's wonderful. We went up there. We like to support her, you know, and we have people that come all the time from, you know, New Paltz up that way. And we say, hey, how about this? And they didn't know, and they're really excited about it. And the final thing I have is that we're going to be closed from December 23rd to January 23rd for renovations to the store and our donation space. But we are going to be open for our regular first Tuesday of the month donation day, which is January 7th from 10 to 3. But with everybody's support, we continue to grow. I mean, so fast, it's crazy. And I just love working with these people and seeing the people that come in and buy stuff. And it's like, oh, what are you going to do with this? You know, this random thing, but it's really cool. And I thought I'd share one thing I made. So I was given, I don't know if you can see this, 800 of these masks from Make-A-Wish. And I'm like, what do I do with these things? They are 3-ply. My sister works for them. So for Christmas, she will be getting a couple of pillows made out, I don't know if you can see it, but made out of these masks. So that's my contribution for tonight. I hope to see you guys all at Retake. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joanne. Yeah, so Retake Remake's awesome. They also have classes. So I am not wearing it tonight, but I went to a jewelry making class. We made bracelets. I did go to a class that was making like using Japanese crochet to make a little stuffed animal. I was terrible at it, so I did not leave there with anything other than the supplies for my daughter. And then, but they have a bunch of other classes that they offer. So definitely follow them. And actually one of the bracelets that I made for a friend, and that's her Hanukkah present this year. So, but yeah, everything from art supplies to like office supplies and things like that.
A lot of yarn, a lot of material. We have a lot of people that make bags, a lot of quilters that come in, so many knitters and crocheters, and even some like children's kits sometimes, some kids' toys, decorations. Of course, we have Hanukkah and Christmas decorations out now. Tons of sewing supplies. Tons of buttons. I love buttons. I don't know why, but yeah, just about anything that you can. We also get a lot of times the old photographs that people like to collage with or whatever. We do have a lot of different types of paper that you can collage with. So I think there's something for everybody.
Definitely. And actually I am wearing, so my teenage daughter refused to join us tonight, but she loves Retake Remake and she makes upcycled jewelry. And actually the earrings that I'm wearing are little Christmas lights that she upcycled from a broken light up necklace. But then all the other parts of this earring are from Retake Remake. So she gets her beads from like thrift stores and Retake Remake, but then all the jewelry making supplies, including the tools for making the jewelry, she gets from Retake Remake. And I find that the school supplies from Retake Remake are actually much more durable than what you can buy new. Cause like if it could survive 25 years at IBM without breaking, right? Like it can survive 7th grade. So we try to go there first. Any questions for Joanne about retake remake? Lila, again. Go
I
ahead.
can always come up with questions. So, so Joanne, I'm curious actually, because I've come in and donated lots of kids stuff. I've gotten some other things while I'm there, but in our bigger WASS mission, and as we're sort of thinking about all forms of materials, can I ask you, like, what becomes too big, or what becomes too a material that you wouldn't take, as we start thinking about like what differentiates the art supplies you'd take versus like scrap material that some found art artists might really want, like leftover tiles or glass or hunk metal.
And that's fine. And we actually have, we got a donation of like stained glass, and, you know, we want to be careful because some of it's already broken up. And people, as soon as Barbara is the, you know, our founder, Barbara Corian, and the director, and she puts everything up. She does a great job with the social media, and people see it and they're like, boom, you know, they want to come and get it. So that's the thing, is it doesn't matter. Like, you know, let's say you have a half a bottle of paint. That's fine. We'll take that. As long as it's not dried up and, you know, obviously. The things we don't really take are like your household items that you would like maybe take to a thrift store. But even we've had, you know, I even bought a few things that were like broken little things. I think I bought the ends of the zipper pulls that I'm going to make earrings out to gift to my niece for Christmas. So it doesn't matter if, as an artist, if you have just a few scraps or whatever left over, if we feel we can't sell it, we will usually put it out. We have a free foyer, and so we'll put it out there. And, you know, maybe teachers come and they just need that little bit, or, you know, or any artist, or, you know,
Because
whatever.
I just say it because I am not yet any kind of like junkyard scrap expert, but you know, for personal context, I'm trying to get back to a little art myself, and I used to do some hot glass work, but that's not so eco-friendly, and I want to do more with like cold work stuff. So I just wonder if you even see a need. I understand the danger factor, but you know, maybe another conversation another day, but I wonder if there is some other need for you to have like a sister facility for those kind of materials that aren't quite like a broken car or a chair, but like the broken mirrors that somebody else might come and really want that glass, but you don't want sitting around in there. So
yeah, I mean, and
conversation for another day.
Right, that's a great
like
point.
the in-between stuff. It's not quite industrial, but it's not a like pre-made art supply for somebody to just walk away with.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work. And, you know, we are not for profit. We do have a couple of paid employees, because without them, honestly, I don't think it would really be so great, because we have gotten in the almost 2 years, we've really just grown so big. But, you know, there's also a lot of bills to pay, you know, that as not for profit. But anyway, that's a really good idea. And
what I'm going to go and harass the county about, you know.
There you go.
And
tell
if
us
you are
the services you can't provide, so we get the county to do it.
Right, because we don't want to go into the, you know, to the landfill, to the garbage. So yeah, great.
And if you are not crafty, but you know a crafty person, they have gift certificates. So my daughter has given friends for birthdays gift certificates to retake remake. And then I see Terry has her hand up, and then Caitlin. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you take any clothes that may be, you know, ripped or, you know, getting old and are getting holes in them, or have stains that, you know, people might want to cut up and use?
Yeah, we don't take clothes. What we will do is, if we get clothes but they're in good condition, we have someone takes a trip out every once in a while to Love in Action in Yorktown. But, you know, as far as stained and ripped up and stuff like that, we don't usually. I mean, you know, what would be great is I have a pile of my husband's old shorts that are sitting there for me to take out the zippers, take off the buttons. I mean, that's what I'm doing. And anything I can use from there, I will. But we won't take that in the store. And on the website, there is a great list of what we will take and we won't take.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, for textiles, I did some research into this, and the best thing to do, even per the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, is put it in those like kind of dumpsterish looking bins that you see in parking lots that say that they're for clothing donations. Because things that are in there, like clothes that can be donated, they donate. Otherwise, they bundle it and sell it as like for rags or whomever buys it. And so it doesn't, is like kind of the best way to reuse at this point, if something is not salvageable. So Caitlin.
Yeah, I was curious about, I guess first, how often do you take donations? Like, I'm curious about the volume you're receiving.
So we, excuse me. When we started out, we had every week we would take donations.
Right, I remember that.
Right. Now it's once a month. It's the first Tuesday of
Right.
every month, because in order to get that stock, you know, sorted out and priced and everything, it really takes a lot.
Totally.
But we will take like up to 2 bags if you have like shopping bags when we're open for shopping.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so people can kind of donate that
They
as well.
can, yeah. We're
Yeah.
never not going to say no.
Yeah.
And as far as the volume, just to give you kind of a, you know, it's just what we have now, let's say. So I keep it, you know, for all the towns every month, every year. So we collected, I think it's about 1,700 pounds. Yeah, 1,700 pounds on our donation day. And we usually end up with about 4,000 pounds a month. So we're still going to be getting quite a bit.
Right.
You know? So,
Right.
you know, and it's not, sometimes it is heavy stuff, you know, but like we don't, the books that we take, that's another thing, is we take books that are, you know, like how to crochet, how to draw, that kind of stuff, but not,
Yeah.
not reading books and stuff like that.
Mm.
Coloring books we'll take, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about, like, you know, you think about like McDonald's, for example, they can have McDonald's throughout Westchester County or Targets or stuff like that. So like I was thinking like a retake remake, like how many, you know, let's say the infrastructure was in place, could we have in Westchester County? Because my guess is there's like a tremendous amount of volume
You know
of
what? I think
donatable goods.
Oh yeah, I think we could have plenty.
Multiple ones, right? Yeah.
I really feel that, because I mean, people come from New Jersey, they come from across
Yeah.
the river, they come from everywhere. And of course, you know, some people will come and, oh my God, you know, they'll buy over $300 worth of stuff. And if you've been to the store, you know, that's a lot of stuff, because our prices are really not that high. But they made a trip this month or whatever it was, you know, because, you know, you don't want to be driving with the price of gas and whatever, you know, to just drop off a pound of something. So
Yeah.
people are
Thank
smart
you.
about it. Yep.
It's really interesting.
I went to a fused glass workshop at an artist studio in Norwalk, Connecticut. And when I signed in and put my town as Peekskill, she was like, hey, I know that city. There's this place there that takes art supplies. And I was like, yeah, retake, remake. She had already been in touch and had a ton of stuff. And I said, I'll save you the drive. And so we loaded up my car with all her stuff. And I've been to subsequent workshops at her place. And every time I go, she has a pre-approved, you know,
I've got it
bunch of
from your
supplies.
husband too. I know your husband's dropped it off. Yep. Yeah.
He goes
that's
to the
great.
drop-off days. So save her the gas. But so yeah, you're definitely regionally known.
There's
for
also
sure.
people that like have their business now where they clean people's houses out. You know, and a lot of times if you have someone that's lived in their house for a million years and, you know, we're all going to do something and we never do, and they'll bring it to us. And that's, you know, that's a great thing. It didn't have to go in the garbage. So, yep.
All right, so those were our two kind of scheduled speakers. Do we have any makers or more questions for Joanne or any other makers? We want to give you the floor first, and then we can proceed with discussions on other topics related to holidays. Like I know usually gift giving, like gift ideas is a big topic, and we'd love to hear ideas for non-wasteful, consumptive things.
Yeah, I
So
have an idea.
Ornella,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Hi, so my name's Ornella. I went to the University of Pittsburgh and I've joined WASS, but I took a step back and now I'm kind of re-emerging. So I have been creating postcards with my photography as a way to kind of raise money for Doctors Without Borders. And I have an art show at Croton Black Cow Coffee that's going to be debuting in like around April or summer of this next year. So it is a fundraiser event for Doctors Without Borders. So I will be posting about that in the Peekskill Herald, and I'm writing more freelance stuff for the Peekskill Herald now. So yeah, there's still dates to be determined, but I'm really excited about it. And I create medical illustrations. So my goal is to create photographs such as like the tooth to explain the anatomy of the tooth, especially for younger children who might not understand why it's important to brush your teeth. Because I know when I was a kid, it was a battle for my mom to get me to brush my teeth because I just didn't like the feeling of, the toothpaste and whatever. So I didn't understand why I had to. But then as I grew up, I understood there's a lot that goes into dental care. There's a lot that goes into, other types of care, even hair care and skin care. So it's like an educational platform and a way to easily explain to people the anatomy of the tooth is not something I knew when I was 5 or 10. So that's kind of a way to explain, and then hopefully have art shown to different clinics because I studied medicine and I've worked with a lot of doctors. So hopefully one day with the concept, having that art sold to various dental clinics to kind of increase the education and a public health orientation kind of, and then hopefully it's kind of more of a public health initiative, but through art, and it's a fun way to introduce kids to medicine and science and things like that. So thank you.
That's awesome. Ornella, are you planning or do you take commissions?
Yes, I have
Okay.
my Instagram, ornella.aesthetics, that I just opened up. I'm taking it from our family's construction business and turning it into my own design company. So I will put that in the chat.
Awesome. Yeah. So so for folks that don't know, I'm a cancer researcher in my day job. And I like kind of enjoy the science art of like whatever organ I'm working on at the time. So I would definitely be interested in like liver, pancreas, colon, kidneys. So any other makers that want to share their art with us? Or whatever you make. All right. Well, if you do, feel free to unmute and chime in. Otherwise, do other people have questions about like gift giving or gift ideas? Maybe you're not an artist, but you craft as gifts. Yes, Lisa, bruised apple is great. I actually went and got 2 gifts there for the holidays. One for my nephew he's a freshman in college, and it was like the college student's cookbook. And then I got a guidebook for my own, like to give to my kids we're taking a trip in the summer. So I got like a guidebook to where we're headed from Bruised Apple. That is the used bookstore in Peekskill for people who don't know. All right, so I think I'd like to ask for folks, like, do you have any ideas for gifts that you're giving for the holidays? that are not physical things. So Ornella put in the chat donations in honor of someone for sure. Yeah. Those are great.
I love the idea of gifts that, like some sort of activity that you can do together, I think is really nice. And it could be creative, you know, like when I was a little girl, I always made coupons for my mom. I don't know if she really loved them as much. She made me feel like she just loved them. Um, yeah, and that was really fun. And, you know, yeah, it feels good at this time of year to make something, I think. It's like it's healing, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, I think like my daughter and I love to go together to different craft classes, you know. So I mentioned we've been to ones at Retake Remake, at Peekskill Clay Studio, this artist in Norwalk that we went to, in Mount Kisco, there's like a really great paint your own pottery place, but they do soap making and fused glass and like a million other things. And they also have and it's like paint your own pottery, but it's not like all like a race car and a kitty cat figurine like we think of with some places. It's like you can do like stoneware or like other real dishes and things. So those I really love. My son, I hope he's not listening, but he wanted to see The Outsiders on Broadway. And so he's gonna I got tickets for that, and like I'll like wrap up. I might get him a copy of the book and wrap it, and then like that'll be the thing he opens. But the gift is the tickets and the experience. And I think probably for a lot of us who are parents, we get inundated with stuff. So less stuff is always good. I for a while was just gifting magazine subscriptions to kids. So like Ranger Rick, Nat Geo Kids, the Cricket and Highlights magazines, because then it was like, you know, it could be recycled. Obviously, it's like a physical thing, but it was like something that came once a month for like the whole year. And I felt like that was really useful and something kids enjoy, like getting mail. Any other questions people are banding about that maybe we can put our heads together and
I
solve?
had another, like, kind of to add on to what Caitlin was saying, you can get someone a massage or a nail spa day. So there's Bear Mountain Spa, which isn't too far from Peekskill. It's very cute, and you can go get a gift card for someone and spend a day with a family, like whoever it might be, like a sister-in-law or whatever like that. And it's a fun outing. They have a restaurant. It's really cute.
Has anybody, I haven't been, and I don't exactly know where, but holiday and kind of spa related things. I think there is a bulk cosmetics refill place that it's open somewhere in Westchester. Does anybody know where it is, and is it any good?
I wonder if you're thinking about the one here, that we have one in Hastings called the Refill Room. I don't know if you're thinking
Would
of
that be like a nice gifty place? Like
very much so. It's
for your
very,
first thing, would that be a nice gift that might help inspire somebody to go continue to use the refill?
yeah, I think definitely. It's a great place. It's beautiful. Like you know, it's so funny because modern packaging tends to be like, in my opinion, kind of unattractive. When I look at packaging from the past, I feel like to me, it's like attractive. And anyways, everything in the store is just very beautiful. And they carry all sorts of things, lotion, shampoo, dish soap, you know, if you can imagine it, they pretty much carry it.
Nice. Paul, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is a little, I guess, quasi-related. I know we're kind of shifting gears, but I know that certain communities have successfully hosted repair cafes, and I wanted to know if anyone knows about the procedure about doing that. I would like to see if one could be done in New Rochelle, or or at least how we could help other communities do that, because I know that some of those electronic devices, or any device in general, sweaters, clothing could be repaired and not getting into our solid waste stream?
Yeah, so Peekskill just had one, a group of folks put it together. It really can just be with volunteers. So the best thing to do, and I have if you send me an email and then or text, I can respond. But I was in touch with some of the folks that did the one here in Peekskill, but I just put the link in the chat to the Hudson Valley branch of Repair Cafe. And I think there's contact info on there and they can help you get started. And so for folks who don't know about Repair Cafe, it is volunteer based where, and you kind of get a bunch of different experts together. So like maybe somebody knows about electronics, somebody else does woodworking, someone else knows how to sew, and someone repairs bikes. And you get those people together for the Repair Cafe and you announce the hours and people come and bring what they have that's broken, like a lamp that needs to be rewired or a hem that is ripped or a zipper that needs to be replaced. And it gets repaired right then and there by the volunteers. And sometimes the volunteers do all the repairing. Other times they just have the tools there for you and they'll help you do it. Or maybe you just need the doohickey and you don't want to buy it for your one repair. You can bring it there and they'll have the tools. And so best bet, Paul, is to reach out to them through the website and they can help you get it started. It's not, I mean, the hardest part, I think, is finding the talented people who are capable of doing the repairs to make sure you have like, you know, the core group of useful folks. And then I think people are pretty willing to come out.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to look at their
You're
website
welcome.
and then I could send you a message because it'll be
Sure.
good to kind of start that process because they're not really hosted too much in Southern Westchester, like New Rochelle, Yonkers, Mount Vernon. And
Yeah,
I
the
didn't get a
river
chance to.
towns, the river
Mhm.
towns have done a pretty good job, but yeah, the other parts of the county, not as much. So that'd be great to help nucleate that effort. Yeah, and the other thing for repairs, like I find for things that I don't need often, I go to my local buy nothing group and ask to just borrow. So like I needed a stud finder and I didn't want to go buy a stud finder. And so I posted on there, my neighbor had one and I just walked over to his house. And instead of having to knock on everyone's door in the neighborhood, he said he had one and I was able to borrow his and then return it. So that's also a good way, like if you need tools. Or I've had people be like, I need 3 screws that are this long and I don't want to buy a box of 50 at the hardware store. Does someone have these? So other questions or ideas, discussion topics that people want to talk about, please chime in.
So I know we were discussing earlier about wrapping the gifts, and a lot of people have come in to retake and, you know, buy material to either make bags or just wrap it in. What I have done and annoys my family for my children's entire life is make them open their gifts very slowly and like, you know, meticulously. I can't tell you the amount of wrapping paper I have that's like under my bed. I have to start getting rid of it. But if there's a little piece I can save, I'm going to reuse it next year. So that's what we do. We just kind of, we don't rip it apart, you know, and we just reuse it over and over again. But I think the material thing is getting popular now. And at retake, you know, you can get a scrap of material that's who knows what size it is for a quarter or 50 cents, I think. But, you know, so there are alternatives to going out and buying new wrapping paper too.
Yeah, and
I
Retake
think I
Remake
have-
has a huge selection of gift bags and
Yes.
and wrapping paper. So
Yep.
if you want it
And
secondhand,
gift
Lila.
bags are 25 cents and cards are 25 cents. And like, why go to a store? You know what I mean? Like a regular store, Walmart. Ugh. But, you know, anyway.
I was only saying my mother did the same. And I believe that in my cabinet across
the room from me here. I probably have wrapping bows and some Christmas bags that are older than me. They probably were from my mom. Like my husband is next to me laughing. I think our glittery Santa bags are like have more than 50 years of Scotch tape on the inside holding all the seams together because the glue has worn off. So
It's
Yeah.
it's the same in my family. It started with my parents who were immigrants from Hungary, and they always saved the wrapping paper and ribbon and stuff like that. And I've done that too. And you know, the wrapping paper size may just shrink from year to year, but biggest problem is storing that stuff.
Yeah, I've been
Oh, sorry, Courtney.
I've been accumulating fabric gift bags. So like after the holidays, like when things go on clearance, I'll get the fabric bags. And then you don't need to worry about, I mean, like if they get a little wrinkled, they get a little wrinkled, but you don't have to worry about them the way you do paper. And so I've accumulated a whole bunch, gotten some off the local Buy Nothing group. And then it doesn't really work with little kids if you're going to put your gifts out ahead of time because they can just easily open them. But when my kids, like we still don't put gifts out till they're teens now, but I don't put the gifts out till Christmas Eve. But when they were little, I only wrapped in paper the things that Santa brought. And then everything else was in a gift bag. And that helped us cut down. But I think it's important for us to remember that, you know, we could spend hours taking the tape off and like preserving the wrapping paper year to year. But the biggest impact that we can have is really the kind of systemic changes that WASS works towards all year round. Because, you know, individuals saving wrapping paper is not going to save the planet, but all of us working together to reduce waste and make it so that all of the wrapping paper can be reused into other forms of paper. It can be recycled, that all of our holiday food scraps get composted instead of burned at the incinerator. These are places that our efforts can have the kind of biggest return on investment, is the kind of systemic change that we can make when we all work together. And I think, you know, I'm grateful for everybody who's on, and I love like just talking about this kind of stuff because I think a lot of us are of a like mind in terms of in our kind of personal lives, trying not to be wasteful and consumptive, but certainly I appreciate all the efforts that people have put forth year round with WASS to really, you know, advocate for the kinds of systemic change that we need to close this trash incinerator. Because, you know, when you live in a society that's built on consumption and disposable stuff and waste, it's not a moral failing to make garbage. But anyway, that's my kind of soapbox bit of the evening. And we are coming up upon the hour. So if anyone else has anything to add, please feel free. Otherwise, I have another musical interlude for us that I can put on from our organizer, Travis. So anybody, any last words or event announcements, craft fairs, bake sales, all of that kind of stuff, please feel free to unmute or drop it in the chat so we can promote it. All right. Well, thank you all for the discussion. Very much appreciated. And I hope everyone has a really happy holiday and gets to do some rest and enjoys the waning days of 2024. We will be back in January with our kind of year in review kickoff, rejuvenated and ready to really push forward on the big steps we've been able to get the county to take in 2024. So thank you all. And now I will play the video by Travis Carpenter. Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.